Working with Leslie Mann, Leslie Zemeckis, Gwendolyn Christie, Asa Gonzalez, Merritt, Diane Kruger, Steve Carell. Come on, like that lineup is a dream.
I chose Steve Carell to play Mark because he's a great actor.
Get down!
I knew he could do the swashbuckling and do that deliciously, and that would be a lot of fun. But I also realized that what he would really be able to do better than any other actor I can think of is play the damaged and emotionally scarred Mark character with magnificent levels of emotion and pathos.
What drew me in to this project is he's a very courageous guy.
I was a hell of a good artist, and now I can barely write my name.
I see him as a person with a great deal of integrity and warmth and kindness, but with some demons, you know, some dark aspects to his past that he's trying to figure out. So I wanted those qualities, those things to be evident in a portrayal of him.
All of the details are so... Oh my God! What are they doing?
Leslie Mann has this wonderful vulnerability.
I heard what happened to you.
But then when she has to play the Nicole doll, she played a fashion doll perfectly in every aspect, from its physicality, the way she walked, the way she talked, the way she presented herself.
I'm used to working on projects where things are a little looser and, you know, there's some improvising happening, and here it's like work within these boundaries, and it's really relaxing for me to work that way. That bullet was meant for you.
I thought the story was incredibly inspiring.
The glove slips.
And I got to fly around a lot on harness. And when you ever get the opportunity to play a doll and a witch, I feel really lucky to be able to do this.
Way to Skinsky. No meat for bones.
All right, all right.
Anna was a very interesting character to me because on the page it was very funny. And that was exciting and daunting. And I was so excited to be working with such a fantastic group of actors.
We can't just leave him to be rinsed and tortured.
I have an idea.
Particularly the women of Marwen, this bona fide hashtag girl squad.
I think it had everything in it that I thought was important. The message of unity, the message of hope, the message of embracing the things that make you unique.
Hey, where's my top? I've really enjoyed the other actors on set. They've all been very kind and gung-ho and game.
What I like with all the dolls, they're very diverse, and each character is so different in life and as the dolls.
I was standing there the other day next to Janelle and Gwendolyn and all this lineup of beautiful, strong, empowering women, and all from different shapes and forms and beauties and backgrounds and cultures and ethnicities. I was so inspired, and I feel and I hope that that's the message that people get through the screen when they watch.
Everyone was really devoted to telling this story with a great deal of appreciation for the kind of courage and integrity that a human being can have.
To life, to love, to Marwen.
Boom.
Okay.
You know, I don't think you'll ever go out of frame, so reach for that right side.
Okay.
Bob Zemeckis, where can you start?
Back to the Future.
Contact.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Death Becomes Her.
Polar Express.
Castaway.
Flight.
Forrest Gump.
He's a legend.
And always push the envelope wildly.
Bob Zemeckis, talk about being intimidated, you know, when you first meet somebody. I not only grew up with his films, but they really impacted me in so many ways. There's a sense on set that you're in the presence of something great. Just the way he composes a shot, the way he thinks through a moment of a film is something I've really never experienced. He was so perfect for this particular movie.
Hey, Mark.
All right, girls, time to hit the hay.
So I was watching the Mark Hogenkamp documentary, and it's really great. And what dawns on me is not only the journey of Mark's real story, magnificent and powerful, but I realized that Mark is telling these elaborate stories that are happening between the photographs. That was the inspiration for me. That would be not only really entertaining, but also emotional. So I said, this is a perfect movie and I have to make it. And, you know, the wider shot that's higher.
He's a genius.
come around like this.
Yeah.
And just inspires everybody around him. He knows everything about making movies, and he selects extraordinarily talented people to be around him.
I've worked with Bob since I was 24.
I've worked with Bob for 30 years.
The great fun of having had 22 films together, you never know where he's going to take you next.
I put Julie behind the 50.
Okay.
I've joked with Bob. We've talked about the old days of Blockbuster, and they used to have a section for every genre of movie. But Bob's movies never fit in any section. They never knew where to put them. Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? It's everything.
Finally, and then you go for it.
This movie has components of every genre and every different type of movie.
These beautiful dolls, these are the women of Marwen.
I feel like I am in the best hands ever, and he is just gonna like carry all of us into this vision of his.
You're kind of like treading water.
Yeah.
It's amazing watching him work on set, explaining what is going to happen in a particular scene when there's nothing there. Most of my character works on the green screen and motion capture, and he's like a kid, you know? He's like playing in his imaginary world, and anything is possible to him.
It's this, girls.
He sees everything with different eyes, a different brain than we do. We're in a green screen and he's visualizing everything. The way he moves the cameras, it's all about the special moments, the details. He knows that everything makes a difference. It's in your brain.
It's in my brain. I do the best I can with what I've got.
Bob likes to create a portal where he's able to get to the core of an emotional story, combined with some great spectacle that audiences just take great pleasure in.
And I have my friends. And I have my town, and I have my pictures, and I'll be okay.
The need to heal himself emotionally and to do it through an artistic way, I could completely identify with. Everyone can understand the healing power of art. Everyone is an artist, and they express themselves artistically, whether they sing in a church choir, or they doodle, or plant a garden. And I think we do that so that we can process the things in life that are extremely complicated and that we don't understand. It's a universal thing.
Cut. Click. Freeze. Very good.
I can only imagine what kind of undertaking this was when Bob Zemeckis comes to you and says, okay, so here's the deal. We need to build a town and this doll world in 1/6 scale. It boggles my mind, honestly.
It's amazing. We were sort of in awe of what the real Mark had done in his own yard. Everything here is inspired by what he did, but completely original.
The actual Marwen call is a lot of found objects and garbage kind of screwed together, and it makes this really wonderful art. And Bob didn't want us to lose this found object quality.
We didn't want the Marwen world to look perfect. It had to have oversized screws and big beads of hot glue that were out of scale when we were in there.
We didn't want to make windows that are like in the real world. We didn't want to make doors of the proper proportions. And it's a real challenge when you're working with people who are trained to create precision.
It's got a fountain in the square. It's got a local tavern, the headquarters for all of our heroes. Hoagie sleeps downstairs in the bar, and all of his bodyguard women sleep upstairs in a girls' dormitory.
We've got a beautiful church. The interesting thing about Stefan's design for that is that the belfry tower is actually a 6-foot-tall school locker that's been flipped upside down. And there's the patisserie, a tobacconist, a bank. You know it's something unique and very special.
The dolls look so much like the actors. It's just uncanny. So much of their characters right there in the faces.
Look at that. Whew, that's romantic.
The actors were 3D scanned to capture their facial features and then digitally manipulated them to make them more doll-like, and then 3D printed the actor heads and painted those to capture the look, the emotion. I mean, you're talking about an eyeball that is 2 millimeters across. There's 50 pieces to a female doll, so you're making 100 different molds to make one doll. It was an incredible challenge that I'm really proud of the team for pulling off.
We decided all the male dolls would have molded hair, and then we chose some of the female dolls to have synthetic hair and some to have human hair.
All of the doll clothes were handmade.
It's all about scale. Every single thread and every single minute detail on a doll is massive, and we got it to a place that we were really happy with.
When I saw my doll, I was so overwhelmed. You know, you just see this little cute brown doll with this Thompson gun, and the little hat, and the little red lips. Everything, it just brought me back to when I was a child.
I was shocked. My hair and the big hoops and the coloring of it all. It's so fun and so beautiful.
And we got to pick out the clothes, and I made mine a little trashy just because. Why not?
My doll is way more handsome than I am. And the fact that in this alter ego world, I am such a stud is so good. Like, I mean, why wouldn't you want to be in that movie?
It was a very passionate team that understood exactly what we needed to create this entire scale model world. And I'm very proud of what they accomplished. What's interesting about Mark's story is that he used action figures and fashion dolls to create an entire world that he photographed. That's what interested me in doing the story as a film, was to take these doll characters and Mark's imagination and bring them completely to life.
At your service, mademoiselle.
I thought that that would be not only really fun and entertaining, but I could do it in a way that you've never seen before.
Run, and we don't use the footage until it's there.
When I came up with the idea for the movie, the first stop was to Kevin Bailey, my visual effects supervisor. I said, okay, so now how do we create these dolls in the digital realm that are based on these human characters, make them look like they're really a doll, but use the actual performance of the human actor and not just the voice performance.
We sort of realized the real way to do this was to shoot the actors on a motion capture stage and get perfect performances from their bodies on a perfect doll body that we could design to look exactly the way that we wanted it to.
The tricky part was facial capture. In past mocap movies, there's always been this thing called the uncanny valley when it comes to these digital characters. And we realized the problem lies in the eyes and in the mouth. Action, Steve. We did an elaborate test with Steve Carell, and we spent a lot of months to perfect how that was going to look.
Kevin Bailey and Bob kind of devised this plan of the ski mask technique to allow the actors' real faces and performances to be projected onto the doll face.
Anything that's emotional facial acting, as opposed to physical acting, we have to film with these cameras.
In the mocap stage, we filmed the actor's face with powerful 6K cameras. We then transposed that digitally onto the three-dimensional doll's face.
We got your back, Hoagie. We always have your back. We're here for you.
It hurts, Jules.
Like the wise man said, our pain is our rocket fuel. It reminds us of our strength.
We're using technology in a way that has never been used before, taking the body motion from the motion capture stage and the footage from our film cameras just for the eyes and the mouth.
Back off, witch!
That combination at the end of the day gives us beautifully stylized dolls with every ounce of performance that these actors have poured into their character visible on screen.
You have the most beautiful eyes.
If you look back at the history of Bob Zemeckis, there are no easy movies. Technically, it was an incredibly ambitious idea. I get very excited to just see that world brought to life.
It's really cool. When you watch playback now, you can see the live action playback, and then you can see sort of a rough version of the motion capture playback.
That looks so cool.
And it's helpful to be able to see it. This is what he is going to look like. It's not this weird guy in the gray onesie. It's, you know, it's that guy with the leather jacket and the hat, this rugged swashbuckler.
Close your eyes. I have a surprise for you. The computer is slowly turning you into an avatar. It's the coolest thing ever. It's the coolest thing I've ever had the opportunity to do.
It allows you to transcend the self, so you live entirely in your imagination. As an actor, it's hugely inspiring.
We can't just leave him to be whipped and tortured.
I have an idea.
It's this sort of wacky combination of reality and digital that hopefully what the audience gets out of it is the sense of awe and wonder in the very same way that you get when you look at Mark Hogenkamp's actual photographs.
Has anyone seen Hogan?
These digital characters, they're really beautiful. It's something that you really can't take your eyes off of. So I couldn't be more proud of it.
Thank you. Thank